All right. Yeah. It never happened and no one can prove it. We were free to be nobodies. There was nothing to see, not the lack of a scarf, nor the absence of a haircut. Not a pair of blank pages mirroring each other's nothing. We weren't the anonymous authors of untitled titles, or the writers of wordless screenplays, or poets unreciting the unrepeatable. Songs weren't sung about unsung heroes. We didn't include pictures, diagrams, or dioramas. No film footage or DNA samples, no page numbers, no punctuation was needed. No decimal points or average speeds were calculated. There was nothing to document on how non-existent you felt or proof of having had any effect on me, or vice versa. It wasn't history. It couldn't be, because no one remembers how it sadly never began, or how happily it never ended. No one knows what wasn't said. While no trees fell, no one saw or felt the goodnight kiss. And no one will ever relive the moment. Nothing was drunk or eaten. We didn't blink or think, cough, sneeze, sniffle, or take a breath. We were the essence of nothing. You weren't anywhere, and no, you can't disprove it. Not even you. You weren't there, remember? All right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read one more.
Plenty of time. Do it again.
Dear Lemon Drop. This is for you, Steve. Dear Lemon Drop. I set you down slowly, making you last most of the morning and melting you into a smooth sliver that glistened on the tip of my tongue. And when I tried to savor the last of your sweetness, you cut my lower lip. But that is not why I bit you. I bit you because I always begin to miss you just before.
Yeah.
All hail Brutus Chieftain.
Oh,
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Cause and effect. I was 9 the first time someone called me crazy. I'm going to be a poet, I told the crows. I'm going to fly and sing and laugh every day. You go to the backyard and we'll perch and chat, they answered. I stood in back and we cawed and we laughed until the babysitter told my parents, something's wrong with him. He thinks he's talking to crows. And they made me stop. And they made me quiet. Today I talked with the crows again. They asked to hear my poems. Yes, I said, yes. Well, we're just through the pandemic. This poem is about my experience at the Senior Citizen Mobile Home Park in the pandemic. Cold comfort. I know what you're really carrying, ice cream man. Your truck constantly playing Pop Goes the Weasel, damn you. You and your big sticks and fudgesicles and snow cones. Your pretend promise of COVID comfort on a sweet stick. I know what you're really chilling, ice cream man. Pop go the bodies. Pop go the corpses. Pop, 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 you weasel. As you drive in and out of the senior trailer park, the morgues are full, but there's still room in your truck. You're with the government, aren't you, ice cream man? Keeping the body counts low, hiding the true toll. Thank God I'm still sane. Thank God I figured it out. A true Sunday? All around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. All around the mulberry bush, shelter, shelter, shelter.
Yeah.
Tough crowd.
Tough crowd here. These damn dwarves. Love 19, and this book's for sale in there. Son of SARS with pedigree of pestilence, death deliverer, equal curse to Spanish princess and American pauper, deceiver of dunces and torment to travelers. You roam cureless and take my breath away. I love your microscopic red spikes and ivory orb. I'd like to make lollipops in your image. Puffy cupcakes and tattoos too. I quarantine but await your arrival. My tongue is your red carpet. Please enter, floating contagion. Silent Slayer, my beloved. Should I start a fan club? Just a cough or a sneeze makes me delirious for more news about you. CNN, Twitter, Facebook, Time, tell me everything. Where were you born? Who's your favorite all-time victim? What's with you and really old people? If you could be any plague in history, what would it be? I'm infatuated. I'm afraid. You're driving me crazy. You roam cureless and take my breath away. I see Ron Kersey is here. And Ron Kersey was once one of my teachers at Pasadena City College. And so you might recognize some of his technique in this poem that I wrote. And I'm dedicating this to you tonight, Ron.
Thank you.
Melancholy menu specials. Starting a restaurant with the Grim Reaper was never going to be easy. Take the menu. She wanted to serve smallpox in a blanket, cream of cholera, fillet of orphan. No, I said. Milkshakes of human kindness, angel food tarts and chocolate kisses. Blech, she said. Braised breast of cancer, femur schnitzel, Bubo's noodle soup. All I could say was fish and loaves, daily bread, hot cross buns. She hit back with syphilis on a stick, thalidomide casserole, Irish potato blight cakes. Served with a big glass of Geno cider, I mocked. Some Pol Pot pie, Spanish Inquit chicken. Don't be an ass, she said. It was easier launching McDonald's. So the Big Mac, that was yours? I asked. Yep, she said. And the McFlurry? Yep. Well, what about the McRib? Don't be stupid, she said. That was God's creation. That and the drive-thru. I noticed the young woman earlier read a poem about her biopsy, so here's mine. Biopsy, bled and cupped. When my scrotum was a coin purse, pinched open, one ball stuck halfway, the other lurching through the urologist's office, where one man wept and another prayed. Their wives were with them. You were at work. Why the weeping? What have we lost? Why the praying? What remains?
How much time do we got?
How much time you want?
You have 5 minutes.
Oh, perfect. You know, I don't live near Pasadena anymore. I live out in the Inland Empire. This poem was about my life in the Inland Empire. Bones in a warehouse. I'm hiding a 55-gallon drum of high-octane leaded gas in my garage. 322 caliber, a 308, and a 38. I know it's wrong. Someone once said I had strangler's wrists, but I'm older and weaker now. All right. Revised nursery rhymes for the quarantine. A tisket, a tasket. COVID put me in a casket. Little Jack Horner sits slumped in his corner. Little Bo Peep just died in her sleep. Homeless Miss Muffet sat on a bucket, eating some thrown-out bread. A bite from a spider put COVID inside her, and that's why Miss Muffet's now dead. Fee, fi, fo, fungs. Oxygen can't reach my lungs. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. She wipes herself with fleece. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a COVID test kit. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill's still up there coughing. Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a COVID cruise that started from this tropic port aboard this princess cruise. The passengers were quarantined, the crewmen all got sick. They're stranded in the harbor still. We'll watch them till they croak. We'll watch them till they croak. Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed. Poor mountaineer came home, found his family dead. We all live in a COVID quarantine. COVID quarantine. COVID quarantine. We all live in a COVID quarantine. COVID quarantine. COVID quarantine. All right, how much time? All right, that's it. All right, I am going to stop. So thank you, everybody. I'm Brutus Chieftain. Thank you. Web of words. For 9 months, Brutus Chieftain went to work and pretended he was a 54-year-old poet. Spending 4 to 6 hours a day on the internet, he set himself up to be approached by a man seeking sex with writers. For 3 weeks, the two talked via computer about haiku, skin, and couplets. And then the man asked to meet him. He basically seduced my persona, Brutus said. He arranged the whole thing. I felt frightened and vulnerable. But when the man arrived at Muscoy Coffee and Fudge for the meeting, he was captured by a dominant ode and whipped below the ballads. Inside his car, police found condoms, rope, and a rhyming dictionary. Miss Tina Pasadena.
Elemental to my essence, books were my first love. Magical and mystical, they conjure and entreat. Language and linguistics, lingo and lexicon, diction and syntax, invoking a visceral heat. A passionate procrastinator, reluctant to write, hesitant to dive down the rabbit hole, and uneager to unpack the box marked fragile. Exposed and vulnerable, it takes bravery to be a writer. Once released and wisely worded, meticulously edited text becomes susceptible to interpretation, judgment, criticism, all the while ready to be accepted, embraced, and endeared. Speaking your truth is complicated, but silence is oppression. Writing is a full-body experience. You know you're doing it right when you start to cry. That's when you snatch up that wound and bear down on that bitch. Pen your own legacy. Voice your own narrative. Because we got a story to tell. Right. How am I doing on time? Did anybody actually start?
6 more minutes.
Thanks. Right, let's do afflicted. I'm tired of this life. It's just not sustainable. I'm not meant to be a potted plant in a barn stall cubicle. My kind of crazy needs flexibility. I'm splendid in small bursts, consultations, calls, chats, and pings. I'm a fucking pleasure. But 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, the veil starts to wear thin. Medicated and stressed behind this leaking barricade is a tsunami of absurdity, and I'm lacking the fucks to fortify. My lunacy is like a ferocious beast that can be momentarily pacified, and I'm running out of treats. Eclectic and esoteric, my dement is straddled, overloaded suitcase, desperate to latch, late for the last flight out of this war-torn town. Sun-baked mania seeping through the gaps, they catch the salacious scent of the delirium of madness. Shut up, Tina. Stop talking, just smile and nod. Give them the facts. Don't create, don't opinionate, don't donate. No one is going to pay you to be you. Keep your head down. Do the fucking job. And for all the sake of good and nerdy, shut the fuck up. you're so vain, you probably think this poem is about you.
It is about.
Don't ever marry a poet. With the fiercest of love, they'll build you palaces out of paragraphs. Dashing across a room, they'll go, that was good, write that down. Poets feel the balancing of the universe, the passage of time, the pull of invisible threads, the certainty of knowing nothing. Passionate and poignant, they argue in lyrics and citations, pugilists navigating self-doubt. I'm not a writer. I'm a hoarder of notebooks and Word documents. Skeptical and suspicious momentum, impatient for the flash of innate awareness, wary to begin and fixated on the end. 3 a.m. texts read like a suicide note. I want you to be happy, just not in front of me. Impassioned poets, both enraged and exhausted, living a brown and weary life in a colonized land, surviving from check to food bank to side hustle, their families beg, come home. The ardent poet's priorities precariously packed, they take their verse upon the path. No parkway or passage, cobblestone or concrete, only the peculiar will pacify the poet. To witness the void, amplify the omitted. The poet knows no home. All right, last one. Thanks, friends. This is protest song. Today, another tragedy. Tomorrow, another fucking microphone. Is this a protest or your feature thesis? Thoughts and prayers will not halt the gun, the gallows, the gas, and the time for incremental change has passed. Thoughts and prayers. We asked for sympathy, for empathy, for mercy. Rebellion or war, the monster is at the fucking door. Eco and human rights, not futile political fights. Access to necessities, not red-tagged commodities. Wire hangers posed. Accountability for your monstrosities. A protest song. One that awakens the compulsion in your guts to action. Throw your privilege upon the wheel. A lullaby of liberation, attuned to croon to the Cajun babies. A dedication of self-determination. A shanty of salvation to sing while we gather our tools of specific destruction. This time we're going to need a weapon mightier than the pen. Rise up with a protest song. Whatever it takes, we got to get this shit done.
All right, let's hear it again. You can do better for Team Pasadena. Pulse in the gut. All right, now gird your loins. Fasten up your underwear because we've got Fireball coming up live.
I'm right? Am I right? Who the fuck invited Matt Rouse to this party? Come on, everybody. I'm right? Am I right? Who the fuck invited Matt Rouse to this party? Wait! This LitFest is not over! Hear me out. It'll only take a minute. Maybe 9 or 10. You do not need to pee. Are you there? Are you listening? Hello? Is this thing on? Because this is important. It'll blow your mind. It'll change your life. You see, I woke up early this morning before the kids, and I got out the bottle of Windex and wiped the fog off in the morning with a microfiber cloth. Then I sat in the cold, crisp quiet at my little round kitchen table drinking my coffee with circles under my eyes, intersecting across the bridge of my nose and forming the symbol of infinity. And it occurred to me that you are all wrong. This is all an illusion. We are confronted by petty pleasures while catastrophes rise from fissures in the parking lots and cities implode behind us. It's not our fault. We are uneducated. They only taught us the minutes and the hours so we could clock in on time. They only taught us to raise our hand and wait to be called on. They only taught us how to sharpen our pencils. They only taught us which days of the week and then why. They only taught us the good news. They never talked about the genocides, the kids in the cages, and the movie theaters in Kharkiv. They never said that we'd have to gather ourselves up after a meltdown. We've been herded into tunnels, and we're supposed to be grateful that they are lighted. Am I right? Am I right?
Right, man.
Right. Who the fuck invited Matt Rouse to this party?
Who? I don't know.
Am I being arrogant, obnoxious, presumptuous, bumptious, a little irritating? Of course not. You see it. Can you feel it? It's all lies, and I know the truth. I know things. When I was 25, I traveled into a sacred cave and used in spiritual ceremony centuries ago with an old hippie friend and took too many psychedelics. I laid down on my back and watched the night vibrated and melt into a pool of viscous liquid, which swept me up and dumped me out on the other side of the stars, where nothing was separate. The universe is a lumbering machine, and I know things. I know things. I know that groceries would be cheaper without currency. I know that flags and underwear are made from the same material. I know that clothing is optional, but probably not in Minnesota in November. I know that things would be more efficient if we governed by haiku. I'm right? Am I right? Am I right? Who the fuck invited Matt Rouse to this party? Wait, this is the good part. I have something to tell you. What you all need is a good fucking yes. Wait, did I say that? Did I say that out loud? I don't want to say that. I didn't want to say that. Why did I say that? Sometimes I say mean things that I don't mean, but that doesn't mean that I don't like you. Actually, I'm in love with you, and I hate that. My attempts at social interaction never go well. I've been doomed to watch you while standing behind plate glass of my own construction, constantly window shopping, interpersonal connections. But I want you to know, what I want you to know is that your effect on me is cataclysmic. You are a meteor shower, burning trails across the underside of my psyche. You drill impact craters deep into the soft marrow of my bones. I wish I could have you like other people love other people. But I was doing laundry this afternoon, watching my Argyle socks dry. I put my hand out in front of my face and attempted to look through my phalanges just to confirm the consistency of my existence, because sometimes I need second opinions. While my skin still covers my sinews, my joints are misaligned and my fingers are asymmetrical. There are parts of me that are misconstrued, misconstructed. I will never be normal. I don't want to be normal. I don't want the money. I don't want the happiness. I don't want your American dream. I want to be legendary. I want to be whispered in ears at gatherings that have been designated as unlawful assemblies. I want to be resonating voices. This is a blueprint. This is the last house. This is a new skeleton. This is embassy. This is asylum. This is the island of misfit toys, and we take care of our own. This is the island of misfit toys, and we take care of our own. This is the island of misfit toys, and we take care of our own. I'm right? Am I right? Who the fuck invited Matt Rouse to this party? Wait! I'm almost done. Well, mostly almost. Over 50% done. 7 inches done. Unless you want to go metric, which would take a little longer, but be more synchronous with the rest of the world. Because I was on my way to Pasadena, driving up to 57, and I saw the other cars disappear. The road before me opened wide, like a Tyrannosaurus jaw, and swallowed my Prius. I am Bolus, slipping past rock through magma into the core, where I find poetry. Poetry is not written on paper. Poetry is motion and sound. Poetry is not syntax and symbols. Poetry is lifestyle. Poetry is life. She has 27 dish towels and she can't find a single fucking one of them right now. She is poetry. She is the charge nurse at a hospital for butterflies with broken wings. She bottle feeds them nectar and showers them with soft white light. She is poetry. Her dog sleeps in a trundle bed with a stuffed pig under a homemade Afghan. She is poetry. She listens to Blondie at 1 a.m. in the morning and posts clips on Facebook so I can hear it too. She is poetry. She stands outside the back by the pond as the koi fish circle around, spreads her arms out and tries to catch the energy of the wind. She is poetry. We are 35 people in a courtyard on a hot night. We are poetry. We drink, we eat, we chatter amicably, we speak out loud. That is poetry. We are poetry. This is poetry. I'm right? Am I right? Who the fuck invited Matt Rouse to this party? No one invited me. I am a meteor shower, and I crashed right into this motherfucking LitFest.
Alright, so some of you during the reading are probably asking about what is Poets in Distress, and we are a cult, and if you join, you're in forever. Because once the poems touch you, you cannot escape, right? How long have you been in?
I'm still here. I'm going on 27 years.
Right. You?
4 decades.
4 decades. You?
Gotta be Vroman.
Right. Once you join, you cannot leave poetry. So thank you, everybody. We are Poets in Distress.